In this video, I'll show you how to make selections in Affinity without a Canva subscription. Let's get started. If you'd like to follow along with me, I've left a download link to the photo that I'll be using in the video description. Making selections in Affinity without Canva AI is pretty easy. To get started, let's use the Object Selection tool. The first time you select this tool, you'll see this pop-up appear, telling you to install the segmentation model. So go ahead and click on Settings, and then where it says Segmentation, make sure to install this option. This will allow the Object Selection tool to work properly. With that installed, I'll close out of this, and I'll select the Object Selection tool one more time. Using this tool, we can hover over different areas to highlight them. Once you're hovered over the area you want to select, you can just click to make a selection. This is a pretty good starting point, but I like to make sure everything is selected by using the selection brush. To select this, I'll click on the little arrow next to the Object Selection tool, and then I'll select the Selection Brush tool. Using this tool, we can zoom in and move around our selection to make sure it's properly selected. If we see areas like this that aren't selected right, we can click and drag to add to our selection. And if too much is selected, we can hold down Alt or Option and then click and drag to remove. So I'm going to do this all the way around the selection, painting to add to our selection, and then holding Alt or Option to remove. The Object Selection tool doesn't do a very good job on the edges, so if your subject is on the very edge of your photo, it's important to make sure that this is included in your selection. Once you've gone around the edges with the selection brush, I like to refine the hair of our model by going to the top of the screen to refine. Now we can just click and drag to paint over the edges of the hair. This just tells Affinity to take a second look at these areas. With that finished, I'll press Apply. And now we can add a mask to our selection by clicking on this button right here. I'll deselect with Command or Control D, and now we can double check our selection. I like to do this by going to the top of the screen to Pixel, and then I'll add a new fill layer. This just gives us a solid color backdrop to double check how our selection looks. By default, it's set to 92% white, but I like to drag this all the way down to make sure it's 100% white. So now I'm just going to select our mask layer, and we can go around and make sure everything is selected properly. Right away, I can see parts of his face have not been included in the selection, so I want to add those back in. I'll use the paintbrush to do this. My settings up here are set to 100% flow and 80% hardness, and that usually looks pretty good for selections. Now, if I were to paint right now in black paint, we would remove from the selection. But if I press X on my keyboard to get out 100% white paint, we'll be able to add to our selection again. So I'm just going to paint to make sure his whole face is selected. And then we can go around the edges to add or remove from our selection as needed. Sometimes smudgy areas like this will happen, so just press X to switch to black paint, and you can paint those areas away. If you paint away too much, remember X is the magical shortcut to get white paint back out. And I'll just continue to do this all the way around. Another useful shortcut is using the bracket keys to make your brush bigger or smaller. With the painting done, our selection looks great. So depending on what you want to do, you can turn off this fill layer to have the background removed. Or if you want to do more edits with your selection up, you can reload your selection. To do this, I'll just turn off the mask layer so you can see the background again. And then you can hold Command or Control and click on the mask's layer icon to load the selection. So now your beautiful selection is ready for your next edits. So that's how you can make a really good selection for free in Affinity. And if you enjoyed this video, I'll leave a link in the video description to my free Affinity course. In the course, you'll learn 10 simple steps to make any photo amazing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next Affinity Revolution tutorial.